السلام عليكم أستاذ سامع رسول الله. نبدأ المحاضرة اليوم تقديم عن EHPlus. So we would like to welcome EHPlus today. They are presenting this lecture for us. So hopefully you will have a good information out of this. And if you need any translation, إذا تحتاج أي ترجمة بس يعني أعطونا خبر وإحنا إن شاء الله نرجع لكم السؤال إذا في أي استفسار أو شيء. So if they need any translation, you can.
Yeah, no problem.
Right?
You speak Arabic.
Assalamu alaikum.
I told you you can speak Arabic. Inshallah.
Yes? My name is Mike. I am one of the teachers and owners of A+ English Education. We're a very small private school in downtown Vancouver. My partners are behind me. This is Scott and Sean.
Hello.
Hello. We are 100% Canadian owned. The school is the three of us. We make the coffee, we do the dishes, we do everything in the school, including teaching IELTS. So we do a lot of IELTS teaching at our school. We are located right in downtown Vancouver. We were all former teachers at PLI, a very big school. We quit and started our own school right here, so right downtown. We are the only school in Vancouver where the teachers own the school, which means we teach very, very well. If we don't teach well, we are hungry. So we work hard to teach well, to improve your score so that we can help you. You bring your friends, we do a better job. So.
I have 2 children to feed, so I
Yes. Please help us feed Scott's children. At our school, it's very special. You only study what you want. You want to study speaking, you do speaking. You want to do listening, you can need IELTS, you do IELTS. So we're the only school in Vancouver that allows you to control your education. And we've been open since September 2009. So we've been open more than a year now, and we've got a pretty good program here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit quickly about our IELTS program. This is one of the few ones where you can select your skills. If you only want writing task 1, we'll only do writing task 1. If you only want listening, we'll only do listening. If you only want speaking, Saudis can speak, no problem. So it's not really an issue. You only study what you want. If you want spelling, we'll work on spelling for weeks, whatever it is. You create your own IELTS schedule. We have done classes for 6 women on Saturdays. That's fine with us, right? We've done classes 2, 3 men, only Tuesday nights, only Wednesday nights. It's up to you. We're very flexible. Our school is very small. We can do this. You only study what you do. So if you want to just do writing task 1 for a week, we do it. If you want to do writing task 2 for 3 weeks, we do it. It's completely up to you. And you choose your classmates here. You come with a group, 2, 3, 4 people, and you say, this is what we want. I have 4 friends. These 4 friends want to do a little bit of writing, a little bit of listening. We'll do that. Right? We create everything for you. It's all custom just to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a sample writing lesson, give you a couple tips for writing task 1. Then we're going to move to the reading section, do a couple tips for the reading, and then answer any questions you have about IELTS or about our school. So I'd like to introduce the IELTS teacher, Scott.
I'm the IELTS teacher. Nice. Good afternoon. So I'm not very comfortable with the mics. So can everyone hear me? It's usually not a problem. At the schools I've taught at before, they would not put classes in the classrooms beside my class because my voice would disturb students in the other classes. So mics probably don't need it. So everyone who is here, obviously you're interested in the IELTS exam. I assume everybody's familiar with how the exam is organized, but if there are people here who are not, I'll just give you a very quick rundown. What do we know? We know the IELTS exam consists of a listening section, 4 parts. We know it consists of a reading section, 3 readings, 40 questions, 1 hour. This is the problem with reading. It's the 1 hour. If you had 3 hours, I'm sure you could do very well on that section, but it's 1 hour, 3 readings, 40 questions. You need to know what to read, how to find answers quickly. We'll be looking at that today. There's the writing section, 2 sections. Task 1, technical writing. This is actually, this scares a lot of students, but the technical writing, it's fairly standard. We can show you, as we will today, some very specific language that you can use for most task 1 writing tasks, and you'll be okay. And of course, the writing section, task 2, the essay writing. Just for those of you that know the test, a little hint about the writing, the task 1, task 2. Task 1 will consist of 40% of your grade, and task 2 consists of 60%. A lot of students seem to really want to focus on task 1. You need to remember that task 2, the essay, is actually worth 60% of your writing marks, so it's more important in the end, but we'll be looking at task 1 today. So, and of course there's the speaking section as well, the 3 different speaking tasks. If you study with us, we can teach you all or any of those. It's your choice. Today, however, we're going to be looking at a couple of writing skills and 1 reading skill, just to give you an idea of how we teach the exam. And there we are. So, if you take a look, if you turn your wonderful, those of you that have this, that you're sharing, you can turn the page, and we'll see the graph here. This writing right there, or you could just look at the screen, and the graph is there as well. The writing we see beneath, based on this graph, now those of you who have done the test will see right away that this is not, this is easy. This is not as hard as what we would see on the IELTS exam. But when we're studying for the exam, we can't just start with, you know, a graph with 5 lines going up and down, and it's too much, right? We start here just to look at some vocabulary, some grammar, sentence structures that we could use on the test, and we use a simple graph like this to practice and learn the language. Now, here we have this graph and this writing that a student did underneath, and you know, unfortunately, this is not very good. So we're going to show you the ways in which we'll be able to help a student with the okay writing like this, you know, turn it into something better. So quick look here. What does this tell us? At 6 a.m. the number of people at the station is 100. Well, that's true. At 8 a.m. the number of people goes up to 400. That's true. At 10 a.m. the number goes down to 200. That's also true. Between 12 and 2 the number of people is 300. The flat part there. By 4 p.m. this number goes down to 100. By 6 p.m. this number goes up a lot to 400. And by 10 p.m. this number goes down to 100. So this is okay, but not good enough. Mike, what score would you give this?
3.
3! Oh, we need to do better than a 3. At least if you want to go to UBC or SFU, probably you need more than a 3. So let's take a look at how we can turn this 3 into something a lot better. So one of the problems with this writing is its repetition. It's the same sentence structure again and again and again. On the IELTS exam, there are four grading criteria. They look at 4 specific things about your writing. They look at task completion. Did you answer the question that was asked? They look at organization. Is it easy to understand your paragraphs? Are you using linking words to express your ideas? They look at vocabulary, both the correct use of vocabulary and variety of vocabulary, and the same with grammar. They look at the correct use of grammar and variety of sentence structure. With this, the grammar is correct, because I think maybe I wrote this. No, the grammar is correct, but you know, it's just repetition. Goes down, goes up, again and again. This is a problem. So, what are we going to do to improve this? Well, one of the things we can do, taking a look at that first sentence at 6 a.m., the number of people at the station is 100. And there we go. We can help you by giving you, of course, vocabulary that you need. And as I mentioned before with task 1, the vocabulary is fairly standard. Once you understand or can use this vocabulary, you'll be able to use it for most task 1 writings. Pie charts, line graphs, bar graphs, charts. We have numbers, and these numbers are moving, and we can describe them with vocabulary, Mike, like? At 6 p.m., the number of passengers, well, that's not related to numbers, but the next one, at the station stands at 100. It's a very simple change. Just get rid of that be verb, is 100, changes it to stands at, and you will make the marker smile. And a smiling marker, that's good for you. You want to, the more you make the marker smile, the better your writing grade will be, and we just need to impress them with things like stands. So, another way, of course, that we can improve our score is by structure. So, right? By giving you easy-to-use sentence structures, so we take a look at this one here at 80, and there are people with up to 400. Easy-to-use sentence structure. This is almost like math. We can take a structure like this. There, be verb, article, adjective, significant, this is a beautiful adjective, noun, increase, to 400 by 8 a.m. Write what you see there again. There, be verb, article, adjective, noun, to, number, time. This is like a formula. We use sentence structures like this on the exam and you'll be fine. And we can use this on task 1 anytime. There, be verb, and up there, and after that, just to make it even better, after that, there is a significant increase to 400 by 8 a.m. What have you shown the marker? That you understand that you can use the word significant as an adjective, increase as a noun, and the marker's happy. Especially if you follow it up with a different structure. Like this number, then verb, adverb, to, number, time. So looking at the next sentence at 10 a.m., this number goes down to 200. Again, looking at this band 3, the number goes down, goes up. It's not good enough. There's not enough variety. So here's variety. This number then falls sharply to 200 by 10 a.m. So what have we done here? We've showed the marker that we understand we could use the word fall as a verb and sharply as an adverb. So the sentence before, the there sentence, there is a significant increase down here. This number falls sharply. Okay? Basic sentence structure, but again we're showing the marker that we're able to move between now our adjective noun sentence and a verb adverb sentence. Just one sec, Mike, I'm just going to explain a little more here. So when we see something like there is a significant increase, again, adjective noun, we could also, this number then increases significantly. And this is what we're showing the marker, that we can take a word like increase, make it a noun, there is a significant increase, or make it a verb, increases significantly. Fairly simple. If we do it on the exam, you have a smile. Once again, the marker's smiling. Might even be phoning a friend. Check this out. There is nouns, verbs, the marker's happy. Understanding that the marker marks hundreds of IELTS writings. You want the marker to notice yours, something special. If they're yawning and crying when they're reading yours, it's not so good. So, thank you, Mike. This is a 7. Congratulations. You can go to UBC, SFU, the school of your choice. Now, of course, that's just a few sentences. If you look down here at the bottom of page 3, you'll see that we completed the little writing with a few more sentences. There's some other structures in there, a little more advanced structures. Again, if you study with us, you'll be able to write something like this, and your future will be, set. Your scholarship will continue, everything will be wonderful. So, that just, again, one tip, general tip for structure of task 1. The other thing we're going to look at now is a specific skill for task 1, and that's writing the introduction. Now, if you turn all the way to page 4, what we see here is based on this table here. This table. Again, this was taken from an old IELTS exam. Now, As we know in the IELTS exam, they give you instructions for task 1. They give you a sentence like this. The table below shows the proportion of different categories of families living in poverty in Australia in 1999. And then it'll also say, one second, what it will say next? It'll also say something, it will also say, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So again, that's the sentence that the IELTS people give you. It's not very fair, because they ask you for task 1 to write a one-sentence introduction. Well, this is the best one-sentence introduction, but you can't copy what they wrote. It's a bit of a problem. If we try to come up with our own ideas, it might not be what we need. So what do? We paraphrase. We're going to take that sentence that the IELTS people so kindly gave us, and actually my neighbor, an older gentleman who lives in my building, is actually the man who writes this test. So I could give you his address. No, just go talk to him. So my neighbor writes this for you. The table below shows the proportion of different categories of families living in poverty in Australia in 1999. And then they tell us we need an introduction. And you're like, yeah, that is the introduction. Thank you. So we're going to take this. We're going to paraphrase the grammar. We're just going to change the sentence structure from an active to a passive sentence. If you don't know what those grammar terms mean, doesn't matter. We'll show you how simple it is. So what do? First thing, find the verb in the original question. Thank you, Mike. Shows. Okay. We find the verb, and we're going to take everything that's after the verb and make it the subject of our new sentence. How's that, Mike? So now here's our new subject. The proportion of different categories of families living in poverty in Australia in 1999. Sounds familiar. What do we need to do next? We need to take that original verb, shows. We're going to take that shows, Mike, there it is, and change it to a passive structure. How do we do that? We add the be verb, and third form of the verb is shown. Again, if that's some crazy grammar for you, at our school it will make it uncrazy, but that's not too difficult. We took an active verb, shows, we made it passive, is shown. And then? Nice. And then we need an object for our passive sentence. We'll just add the preposition in and add the table, and that's it. That is now our introduction. What have you done? If you're looking for a 6.5, this is all you have to do. You've shown the marker that you have a very useful, very high-level grammar ability to turn an active sentence into a passive sentence. That's all you have to do. You have 20 minutes, or you have 60 minutes for the 2 writings, and it's recommended you take 20 minutes for task 1. You need to just write this introduction as quickly as possible and continue. By doing this, it's 5 seconds to write your introduction. And that's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. If you're looking for something a little higher, a 7, then all we have to do is paraphrase a few pieces of vocabulary as well. Right? So we look at the proportion of difference. So we take proportion, and we just change that to percentage. We take shown, and we change that to illustrated, and now you're looking at a 7. Okay. If you're not interested in a 7, if a 6 or 6.5 or lower is what you need, we don't have to worry about changing the vocabulary. Just paraphrase the grammar. And that's all you need to do. 5-10 seconds, so you have the rest of the time to write about your graph or table or whatever you're looking for. So again, this is just a taste of the skills that we'll teach you at our school, but we understand that this is a language test. Yes, we know that, but it's a language skills test. You need to have these skills to do well on the exam. So I mean, when we're teaching IELTS, we're teaching you the English language, but we're teaching you the skills for the exam as well, because in the end, you need to get the score that you need to do what you need to do. For most of you, to continue studying somewhere, master's degree, undergraduate, at a respected institution like UBC, SFU, etc., and you need 6, 6.5, possibly 7. To get those scores, you need these skills. Okay, so, I think that's it for our writing. So, IELTS reading. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's 1 hour, 3 readings, 40 questions. We can't just read like we're reading a newspaper, like we're kicking back Sunday morning with the newspaper. No. We need to understand there's different question types. True, false, not given. These ones are especially not given, are always a problem. Match a person to an idea, scientist to some theory, for example. Multiple choice, maybe our most typical type of question. Typical, not for the IELTS test, but I mean typical, the kind that we're used to. Read and find the answer, A, B, C, D. There's scanning for detailed questions, gap fills. Both detailed gap fills and summarizing gap fills. Labeling diagrams. And matching paragraphs to headings. And there's more, but these are some of the most common ones. Each one of these requires a different reading strategy. Okay? You need to be able to locate your answer as quickly as possible, and there are ways, tricks, and methods to do this. Today, we're going to look quickly, we're going to look at the paragraph heading match, and look at the skills that we need to find the answers for this. In all honesty, the process for finding the answers to paragraph heading is fairly simple. Let me stop, I'm sorry. When I say paragraph heading, does everyone know what I'm talking about? If you've done the test, you know. Just for those of you that don't, just let me stop and explain. If you look at page 7, what happens here, just let me kind of get the reading organized. Okay, so what happens with paragraph heading questions? We have a reading like this, and it's divided into paragraphs. Each paragraph has a letter, or like right there, or there. But this is the one we're looking at. So A, B, C, D. E is next after D. F, G, H, and I. And what they ask us to do is for each one of these paragraphs, choose the best heading. It's like a title for the paragraph. This heading is essentially represents or shows us the main idea of the paragraph. And that's what's important. We're trying to find the main idea of each paragraph. The other thing, of course, because the IELTS people aren't so nice, or my neighbor is not so nice, is we've got, how many paragraphs? I? What's I? Okay, we've got 9 paragraphs, but we've got Roman numeral XI. That's 11. So there's 9 paragraphs, but 11 answers, so there's 2 that we don't need, because the IELTS people, they're not nice. But don't tell my neighbor I said that. So, this is what a paragraph heading is. It's important. It's looking for the main idea. This means we don't have to read much. So, as Mike just said that, or showed us, don't read every word. In fact, we're only going to read, hopefully, the first sentence. And that's it. In a perfect world, in the perfect IELTS world, we read the first sentence, we find the answer, we go to the paragraph headings, and we're done. I don't know the exact, signpost words. So, retrieve the first sentence. Signpost. Do I have to go faster? Okay. First sentence, signpost, last sentence. These are the 3 places we're going to find the answer. 80% of the answers are going to be in the first sentence or after a signpost word. Okay, and we'll get to that in a second. Signpost words are like but, however, but we'll be there in a second. So, let's see. What we're going to do here, we're going to take a look at paragraph E. And again, you can find paragraph E here or more easily here. And what we're going to see here is we're going to use the first sentence technique and find out the answers in the first sentence. Reading the first sentence. In addition, mistakes may arise due to stubbornness. Looking at page 9, the title of this reading is Why Risks Can Go Wrong. This reading, and if we were doing the full test, we would read the introduction. We're not doing that today. We understand that in this reading, each paragraph is giving us a different reason why people make mistakes when making decisions. This is about, again, why people make stupid decisions. That's what this writing is about. Here it says, in addition, mistakes may arise due to stubbornness. This is the main idea. Every paragraph is giving us a different reason why people make mistakes. So we have the answer if we know what stubbornness means. If we don't know what stubbornness means, we need to go to plan B. Okay, so plan A, read the first sentence. Mistakes may arise. Read the next sentence. Well, what's that? So, first one, we read the first sentence. In addition, mistakes may arise due to stubbornness. If we know the meaning of stubbornness, you can go directly to the answer key now, and you will find the answer. If you don't know what stubbornness means, this is what we do. We read the next sentence. After a main idea sentence, it's the main idea. What do they do? After the main idea sentence, we will always find one or two more sentences that are an example of the main idea, or even a definition of the main idea. So, if we don't know what stubborn or stubbornness means, we read the next sentence, and in the next sentence, we will find, this is a general example of a stubborn person, of stubbornness. What does it say? No one likes to abandon a cherished belief, and the earlier a decision has been taken, the harder it is to abandon it. Now, there's a problem here. The problem probably is, if you don't know what stubborn means, you probably don't know what abandon means. If you do know what abandon means, that's great. You have the answer. We need to focus on what we know. What words do we know here? Does anybody know abandon? The word? If you do, don't say the meaning. How about belief? Belief, there you go. There's a word we can focus on. How about decision? Okay, so this is where we need to focus. Now, no one likes to abandon a belief. So, whatever abandon is, we don't like to do it. Okay? Because, and the earlier we make a decision, the harder it is to do something to that decision. So if you have a belief, right? What can you do with your belief? You can keep it, right? Keep it. Like I believe in hockey. As a Canadian, I believe hockey is the best sport in the world. Okay? Do you agree? No. You're gonna try to tell me soccer, right? Soccer. Yeah, okay. My sister plays. No, soccer. That's the sport where the guy gets hit here, he falls down, rolls around, cries. No, I'm just kidding. So, for me, I believe hockey is the best sport in the world. Okay? Can you convince me? Soccer is the best sport in the world? Why is soccer the best sport in the world? Why?
Most of people watch it.
So I should watch it? Is that right?
You should.
Okay, he convinced me. So now, I think soccer's the best sport in the world. So now what am I doing with my belief about hockey? Yeah. Thank you. Lost. What do we hear?
Change.
Change. Beautiful. Let's go to the answer key together for this one. Is it because we didn't put it up here yet? Let's go together. We've changed our belief. Okay, we have a belief. There's really two things we can do with it. We can keep it or leave it or change it. Before we put the answer up there for you, if you look at back to page 7, let's see if we can find the answer for this one. Think about your leaving it or changing it. If anybody thinks they have the answer, Mike will tell you if you're right or not. Anyone? Anybody? What's that? I?
Yeah.
Triple I, did you say? Beautiful. The difficulty of changing your mind. Perfect. If we go back to that original sentence, once a decision has been taken, the harder difficulty, we see two synonyms there, difficult and harder. More importantly, we just use our logic with belief.
Like fussy or something
Like who? Fussy? Stubborn is close to fussy. A little different, but close enough, for sure. That's another thing that when you study with us, we'll show you. You can't be discouraged by vocabulary you don't know. You can study English for 10 years, 20 years. When you do the IELTS exam, when you do the reading, there will be important vocabulary you don't know. You need to work around these problems. We keyed in on words we knew, belief and decision, and we can find the answer. We just need to think. What? Abandon, that's our verb. Abandon a belief. A belief, what can we do? We can keep it, or, as you told me, change it. And then, of course, changing is the hard one. We find our answer, the difficulty of changing your mind, and we move on. Quick review. When we do know that that first sentence contains the main idea, if we know everything, if we know stubbornness, we can just go to the answer key right away. No more reading. If you know everything in that first sentence, the more reading you do, the greater the chance you have of getting the answer wrong. Okay, the answer is there. Mistakes arise due to stubbornness. We don't know what stubbornness means. We read the next sentence, trying to define stubbornness, and then we go to the answer key. Okay, so moving on. What we want to do now is take a look at paragraph B. Why? Because in paragraph B, the first sentence is not the main idea. Why? Too many details. 1960s, the name of this young American research psychologist, Daniel Kahneman, became interested in people's inability to make logical decisions. This is not a main idea. This is background information. Person's name, the time he did. It's too much information about him and too general. He's interested in people's inability to make decisions. I need to keep that in mind, but that's just not a main idea. We call this background information. If you went to the answer key right now, you will not find an answer that is close to this. There's nothing about a scientist has a scientist has an interest. No, that's not here. So we recognize background information. Year, guy's name, background information. We need to move to technique 2, scanning for signpost words. If the answer is not in the first sentence, more than likely it's going to be after a signpost word. Okay? You might give us a list of signpost words. But, however, whereas, conversely, they are words of contrast. Words of contrast like but. On the other hand, nevertheless. And sequencing words as well. But these ones here, but, however, whereas, nevertheless, even though. This is where in the IELTS test, if we can't find the main idea in the first sentence, 95% of the time, it'll be after but, however, nevertheless, whereas, while, not while for time, but while for contrast, what else? Even though. This is where we'll find the answers. So, Mike, before you put it up, if you take the reading that's in front of you, scan quickly I'll give you help for but. See where we can find. Scan. I don't want you to read these sentences. We're just looking for but. We're looking for a signpost word. Oh, right in the middle. But in the past decade. Right there. After the first sentence, which ends at decisions, we're not reading this. That launched him in career, no. We're only looking for the word but. We find it, at the beginning of that sentence, we stop, and we're going to read this sentence. But in the past decade, the fields of behavioral finance and behavioral economics have blossomed, and we hit a word like blossom, don't worry. That's just one word. Okay? Anybody know what blossom means? No. Anybody? Anybody? Blossom?
Like a flower.
I know, flowers blossom. Okay, we don't, doesn't matter. We don't care. We don't stop, we don't cry, we don't, oh no, blossom. We just keep reading. So, blossomed, and in 2002, Kahneman shared a Nobel Prize in economics for his work. Okay. Fields of behavioral finance, behavioral economics. That's, do we know what behavioral finance and behavioral economics are? I don't. But who cares? This is what his work is, right? He did some work, and what was the result of his work? What was the result? Somebody, what did he do? He shared a what? A Nobel Prize. What's the Nobel Prize? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Good thing.
Does he do good work or bad work?
Good work.
Was he a failure? No, what was he?
Success.
Successful, thank you. Let's go back to the answer key and see if we can find our answer. And due to the time, Mike will help us this time. The answer, Mike? A successful approach to the study of decision making. A successful approach. That's what's key. What did we do? We read the first sentence and we realized too much information about who he is and too general about what he does. So we scanned for signpost words. The first signpost word we found was but. We read that, and there's some confusing language about behavioral something. We don't care. That's what he does. But what's more important, whatever he does, he was successful. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. That becomes key, right? He did good things. He was successful. People recognized his success. When we go to the answer key, we find a beautiful answer with the word successful, decision making. We pick that answer and we move on. Again, we have read 2 sentences in this paragraph to get the answer. In the previous one, if we knew what stubborn meant, we read 1 sentence for the answer. If we didn't, we read 2. Again, these are the type of skills that you need to do well on the IELTS exam. You can have a high level of English for sure. That helps a lot. But these skills are very important as well because time becomes a problem, like on the reading, for example. We found 2 answers. 2 answers. And again, 2 answers, minimum 3 sentences read, maximum 4 sentences read. Then we have 2 answers, and we're happy. And we should be able to do this paragraph heading section in 10 minutes. And that gives us 50 minutes for the other 32 questions on the reading section. So, and no worries, because for each of those other reading style questions, for each of those other types of questions, we'd be able to show you similar techniques to find the answers quickly, to know where the answers are, to find the answers, and when we find them and there's a problem with vocabulary, like stubbornness, then we can help you work around those vocabulary problems. So I'm not going to lie to you. Come to our school and we'll teach you 100% of the IELTS vocabulary that you need. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. There will be vocabulary that you don't need. There's some vocabulary on the test that Mike doesn't know. So, no, I'm just kidding. So, you know, you will have vocabulary problems. And again, we can help you find the answer, even though there are keywords that get in the way. So, look at that. Study IELTS with us, that's what we're saying. What we have to offer to you is a lot of experience with the exam. I've been teaching IELTS for 12 years, specifically to Saudis for about the last 2.5 years, since the Cultural Bureau has been sending a lot of Saudis here for about 2.5 years. All of us the same. As Mike said at the beginning, we're a small school, we're the teachers and the owners. We are very serious about our teaching and what we do because it's our life. This is not a school where, the teacher, just works there. We're the owners, and we teach to the best of our abilities. We take it seriously. The other thing is scheduling. You make the schedule. We understand most of you are studying at other schools, colleges, etc. you need classes 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday night, from 7 to 9, we'll be there to teach it. Saturday, again, I had a group of Saudi ladies, 7 of them for 3 months, every Saturday morning from 9 to 12. And I was there to teach them. So you build the schedule, as Mike said. The kind of the usual thing is a group of friends, 3-4 people, get together, then come to us and we'll build a class, a schedule completely for you. So I think that's it. Is it all there? Cool. So if you have any questions, probably the best thing, we're going to move back over to the table here. Just come over to the table and we're more than happy to help you. That's it. So thank you for coming and listening. And again, we got Brad over there. He can tell you about hockey. Otherwise, you can talk to me, Mike, or Sean. And we can tell you more about our program and have you come in. We can get you to sign up for a consultation where you just come to the school and talk to us. No pressure. Just come and we can tell you more about our program. The other thing I will say is next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, March 28th, at our school, we will be having a free 2-hour IELTS lesson. So if you'd like to kind of see a little more how we teach in a smaller classroom setting, you're more than welcome to sign up. Just come over here and we'll put your name down for that. Is the Wednesday one full? So it might be Tuesday. Tuesday at 8 o'clock if the Wednesday one is full. So that's it. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'd like to take this opportunity and thank Scott and his team for coming here and presenting this valuable information about IELTS and sharing their experience with the IELTS with us. You guys can excuse me, I just want to take to them and give a few announcements.
No worries.
In Arabic? No, you can be here. I'm just going to speak in Arabic.
I was going to go sit down over here.
I'm going to give an Arabic IELTS. Just going to explain how they can contact you, what the services they offer. Many of them are in the early stage in English, so they hardly can understand everything. So I'm just going to explain in Arabic what the services that you offer. طيب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، يعطيكم العافية كلكم شباب وبنات على الحضور اليوم، شرفتونا ونورتونا في مجلس الجمعة. 4 أشياء عندي، إن شاء الله أطول عليكم. أول شيء عن المعهد، 3 أشياء عن النادي ومجلس الجمعة. بالنسبة للمعهد، بالنسبة للناس اللي واصلة جديدة لفانكوفر وما هو عارف ايش الآيلتس عشان الرجال يتكلم وخاف ومفجع ومدري لا شغلة بسيطة وسهلة ما حد ياخذ منكم شيء. الخدمات اللي يقدمها المعهد طبعا الأخ سكات هو اللي كلمني في البداية وقال أنا أبغى أقدم دروس خصوصية. هم 3 مدرسين كانوا في البي اي اللي تعرفوا معهد البي اي طلعوا وسووا لهم معهد للتدريس الخصوصي. يعني انت تيجي احيانا في الكلاس في المعهد يكون في 16 طالب 15 طالب ما تقدر تحصل على الشيء اللي انت تبغاه او مدرس ما يوصل للشيء اللي انت تحتاجه ونقطه ضعف. فالشباب هنا المدرسين الثلاثه حتروح عندهم يعني يحاول يجلس معك في البدايه يشوف انت فين، هل انت في باند 1 في الايلتس؟ باند 2 باند 3 هذا شيء. بالنسبه للناس اللي هم ما له في الايلتس ولا له شيء مراوغ ما لا يبغى يختبر ايلتس ولا زحمه الايلتس مريح يبغى يتعلم محادثه سبيكينج يبغى يتعلم مصطلحات الشارع سلانج ايديومز اي شيء يبغاه عندهم كلاسات لكل شيء بالنسبه للبرنامج اللي تبغاه ممكن تروح عندهم تشوفوا ناسبك الكلاس تاخذ كلاس تجريبي في البدايه ناسبك كمل معاه ما ناسبك غير تشوف غيره فبالنهايه انه هي دروس خصوصيه. الشيء الاخير اللي هو بطرحه انه بالنسبه للتعويضات الملحقيه للدروس الخصوصيه الملحقيه تعوض عن الدروس الخصوصيه بحيث انك لازم تجيب ورقه من المعهد انك انت تحتاج دروس خصوصيه. الشباب هنا عشان هم معهد معترف ما هم مدرس خصوصي هيقابلك في كافي او شيء يمكن هذا الشيء بسبب انه سعرهم اعلى من المدرسين الخصوصيين انهم عندهم منهج عندهم قاعه عندهم معهد ما حيدرس في ستاربكس ولا في الجنس. ممكن يعطوك الورقه اللي ترفقها مع الفاتوره للملحقيه عشان تاخذ تعويض عن الدروس الخصوصيه هذه. هذا الشيء اللي كنت بقوله بالنسبه للايلتس.